embellish and increase the general emphasis of the empire. So Suleiman's reign coincides with the rise of the greatest of Ottoman architects, Mimar Sinan, anyone who's visited Istanbul will know Mimar Sinan intimately, because it is he who substantially defined the cityscape of Istanbul today. The Janissary Corps, which was the crack infantry troops of the empire, formed of Christian converts, most of them taken from the Balkans. They were then converted, they were then given an excellent education, and they were turned into the self-responsible troops. They were considered, if not the finest, but certainly one of the finest and most feared infantry forces in Europe. The trading possibilities that the Ottomans enjoyed at the time were very, very extensive. I just think of one example. He built a fleet at Suez in order to go and attack Gujarat. Suleiman himself lives in Istanbul, but it's one of his wishes. And in order to do that, they needed to drag all of the material for building an 80-strong fleet of ships across the desert from the Nile. And only
I would move back too.
Flags for sails and other ships listening for provisions were sourced locally. Equipment for the equipage of the new ships had to be brought in from this extraordinarily extensive supply chain that extended the length and breadth of the empire. So you have a real apogee essentially on every score. When he came to the throne, he got the throne at the most cautious circumstances because the Christian foe, the enemy, was beset by the Reformation and also other divisions. So Henry, what he was up to, Francis I of France and Henry V of the Habsburgs, although on the same side ostensibly in Reform Catholicism debate, were personal rivals, and they were constantly fighting against each other, which again diverted resources away from the common threat. And then you had Venice. This tiny city-state extended across the Mediterranean Black Sea through a series of satellite colonies, and relied increasingly on Ottoman goodwill in order to continue their trading activities. So the Venetians were considered a fifth column by many other Christians, and they identified their survival and ability to exist as being extremely linked to their relationship with the Ottomans. So they cultivated the Ottomans as far as they could. But the Ottomans were obviously much bigger than they could squash them whenever they wanted to. So you have a very interesting power dynamic within Europe. The Ottomans essentially were European power, but subdominated Latin power. So straddling the two worlds, straddling the worlds of Christianity and Islam in a most interesting instrument.
You said earlier that Suleiman spent a lot of his time in the world. Talk us through two of the key clashes that defined his reign. Which battles really stand out in the distance of 500 years?
These battles that I'm going to talk about, they extend to Seven in the Golden Throne, and also to the Line, which is about Suleiman